Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our second full day of conference. You're in Salon 3 for Guided Shamanic Journeying with Linda Fitch. Linda is a practicing shaman who's trained hundreds of students in shaman techniques. She's led workshops that have helped countless hospice workers, grief counselors, and intuitives better serve their clients and their communities. And today she's here to teach us about shamanic journeying. So please welcome Linda Fitch.
Good morning. Morning. Very excited to be here to talk about shamanic journeying. This is going to be an interactive class, meaning I'll do some talking, but the whole thing you're here is to journey, right? Yeah. So we're going to have to go through the talking part so that you know where you're going to go, and so that you're grounded, so that you're safe when you journey. Have you ever had those times where you wonder how in the world did you get here? Like this time and space. And you kind of turn around and you think, oh, I see all those whys. That you had a choice to go this way or this way. And sometimes life gave you those choices. And you had a choice to either stand up or lie down. And to take what was going to happen or to find yourself and step back in again. So as I look here, I go, what are all those pathways that took me? Was it a book that I read included fairies when I was in middle school? Was it studying with Jose Silva in Silva Mind Control, studying hypnotherapy? Then one of those paths that back there, I fell in love with the Mother Earth. So in the Peruvian shaman, they call it the Pachamama, the mother. You know, that's really the mother that we want to hold on to. There's a place that you have to let your mothers go. You have to let that old lineage go, and the one you want to hold on to is that Mother Earth. That's the one you want to continue to source from. Honor your lineage, love your lineage, but source from the mother. So I fell in love with the Pachamama, and then that took me down one of those whys where I actually spent some time working for the government. Yes, I did. I worked for the government. Yeah. That's because I love the earth. I worked for the Forest Service for 15 years, high administrative position. And through that, I was introduced to neuro-linguistics programming. Anybody heard of NLP? Yay, great. So NLP is what it's termed, it's been called the manual for your brain. Now, is that cool or what? Yeah. That somebody could say, what's the manual for your brain? Which really means we all make sense of the world in different ways. That some of us, and all the way from how you code your past experiences and how you code time. I'm fascinated with time. And we'll talk about that. Because the shamans, in the same way that Eben Alexander talked about last night, you go into this place of timelessness when you journey. Not bound by this clock time. Not bound by this kind of time. You step into a different kind of time. So then in all of those twists, then within NLP, became an owner of an NLP organization. And our organization was modeling how people heal. Have you ever wondered that? Why do two people with the same diagnosis, one gets better and one doesn't? What are all the things that are happening in this container? We're so lucky. You are so lucky to have this container. Give it a hug right now. Tell it, thank you. So many times we aren't nice to this container. Why aren't you skinnier? What's wrong here? Why are you aching? What's wrong here? So many times we're not present in this container. Such a gift to have that. So why does one person get better and one person not? What's happening in here? And I'm saying in here, recognizing what's happening in here, meaning all those lineage lines, those beliefs that come in, that all that external stuff, those places where you work influence you energetically. So much for my good jewelry today.
Very lovely.
Thank you very much. So then started modeling how do people heal, and one of the individuals that we modeled was a shaman. So this is how I became introduced to shamanism. So we started to look at that and then dived into his training and worked for that organization for 15 years, developed many classes. One of those on mastery of time. Again, time is fascinating. So if you stop this place of saying it's linear, so I'm going to die, or my child died, my loved one died, and they're going to reincarnate this way, that is one reality. I say if you don't pay your bills, there is something that's going to happen. They will turn off the power. If you don't water your plants, something will happen. So this keeps me to the place where I do remember to eat. Got to take care of that container. That's one reality. That's not the only reality. And that's what we're going to explore when we journey. There's a whole nother kind of reality that if we take that, instead of rolling that this way, we pop it up and down. For those of you that are physicists here, and I teach on my Mastery of Time classes or my Sacred Dreaming classes, all about sacred time. If we pop it, and science says you can pop time this way, up and down, then it's all happening at once. Then you can journey to any of these places. So this is to broaden those blinders that Evan talked about last night. This is about taking off those blinders of how we view the world and to hold those. So shamanism, right now I'm currently teaching the class on sacred time and dream time. Journey and dream are so close, they're a hair's breadth away. So as we talk about journeying today, I only have 2 hours. I'm going to talk as little as possible. So as we talk about this place of journeying, it's hair's breadth from the place of dreaming. Shamans are called through dreams. Shamans are called through near-death experience. Please don't put that in your reality. It's hard on the container. It's hard on your pocketbook. You don't need a near-death experience in here to be able to journey out. Evan told you the same thing last night. You're being told this again and again. You can learn to go out and to go journey, to do it in your dream time. Many shamans are called through dreams. They never used to have shaman schools. Never used to have shaman schools. So we were taught through our dreams, through our journeys, where you're able to communicate with those loved ones, with your guides, with your power animals. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk a little bit about shamanism. Somebody in the open session said, Linda, can you spend 5 minutes and tell me about shamanism? I will. Today, talk a little bit about what is the shaman. Spend a little bit of time talking about journey. If you're going to take it, you need to know what you're going to do. So we'll talk about journey. A little bit of time talking about sacred space. Who in here was here yesterday for Kitty's presentation? Let me just check and see. Okay, so Kitty talked about sacred space. I'm going to add a little different flavor to it, but so that you understand how important it is. I mean, so important that you should be doing this every day, all the time. You need to have sacred space open in your homes. Your home needs to be sacred. Where you work needs to be sacred. What happens is when you call in sacred space, it starts to be that you carry it with you. Like Linus, instead of the pig pen with all this stuff around, you carry sacred space with you. So briefly talk about sacred space, give you some skills to do that. And then we're going to talk about the drum. Because the drum is the way that the shaman journeys. Drum, rattle, drums take us all together. Rattles help break up energy. And I do have my rattle here. So we'll talk about the drum sound, why it's so important. And then we're going to go on journey. And hopefully we're going to take we're going to take 2 or 3 different journeys. So again, I'm going to limit the amount of my speaking, try to, and a couple of different journeys. One of the journeys that we're going to do is we're going to journey with a tree. That's because it's really important that you learn how to become grounded. Particularly when you start doing what Terry would call this kind of work, energetic work. You gotta have those roots deep in the Mother Earth, deep in Pachamama. You gotta be grounded. And we wanna have our head way up in the stars. You want both. So we'll do a journey so that you learn how to experience that. We'll work with images. Images are the way that we journey. They're actually all right brain activity. Everything, and I'm sorry to go back to Evan again, everything that he talked about last night was images. Then there was this beautiful girl sitting on, it's this place where your right brain is working, not where the left brain's trying to make sense of it. We want to learn how to work with that right brain, that part of it. Now what's going to happen to the left brain? It keeps going like this. And it does not stop. Anybody here that's a meditator knows that, right? It does not stop. What we just want to do is we want to dim it. So it goes to the background, not the foreground. But then sometimes you need it in the foreground. You say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then sometimes we need it in the background. But the images are always happening. That right brain piece is always happening. So we'll talk about images. And then we'll do a journey to a power animal. We'll do a journey to what's called the lower world. Now, it's fascinating. My administrative assistant, who's my 18-year-old daughter, she goes, I like my title. And I said, thank you, great. So she designed this beautiful PowerPoint for me, and Terry and I miscommunicated. And I thought, well, that's really odd. And then I was sitting in the back yesterday and recognized, gosh, I was going to do a flip chart. And I thought, gosh, if I do a flip chart, nobody can see from the back. So you get the true shaman's experience, which is one-on-one. So please know, even though you sit with like-minded souls, this is a one-on-one, sitting around the campfire discussion. This is me with you. These are how shamans have been taught for thousands of years. So we're going to do a little bit about shamanism. Shamanism is not New Age, whatever that is. I'm not really sure what that is. But shamanism is not New Age. Shamanism has been around for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years. That was a ho. That was a ho. So some of the literature that you'll look at, it actually says shamanism dates back 40,000 years, 50,000 years. This is not a new modality. This is what I love about shamanism, is it's had all the bugs worked out of it. You're getting something that's clean, that works. The reason I love shamanism and all those other twists and turns that I've done is because it works. It works. Now the other thing about it is you also can still bring in all those other yummy things that you do. Whether you do Reiki, healing, whether this is your first experience, you can bring in all those things as part of the shamanism. Because shamanism is not based on a set of beliefs. Our religions are based on a set of beliefs. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. I believe there's an ever after, whatever all of our good beliefs are. I believe if I'm a good person, I get to go to heaven. I believe that that I'm continuing to grow. It's not based on beliefs. Shamanism is based on experience. And it's experience with the divine. That's who the shaman is. So you can be, and I have had, you Mormon bishops, Catholic priests, nuns, Buddhist priests, that are all study shamanism, because shamanism is this big global umbrella. If you looked at every religion that you can possibly think back and go further and further and further and further and study back on it, guess what you're going to find at the backbone of that? You're going to find a shaman. Shamanism. Do you know what Buddha studied? It's called Bampo. he studied shamanism before he sat under that Bodhi tree. So Buddhism has a very close correlation with shamanism. You'll hear as we talk that correlation with Christianity. If you follow those threads back, every culture goes back to shamanism. Every place on the whole globe goes back to shamanism. Jewish culture, absolutely. Absolutely. So all lineages go back to shamanism. The word shaman actually comes from Siberia. Anybody see Avatar? Yeah, you've all seen a shaman, right? Yeah, it's really cool. One of my favorite ones because she was one of the heroes, the shamaness. So shamans are called, in Africa, they would be called witch doctors. Let's go see the witch doctor. They may be called a healer if you were in South America. If you're in Mexico, it's the curandero, the healer. They may be called the medium. They may be called the medicine man, medicine person. North America. So if you just hold this bigger frame, this global frame of shamanism, then whatever you believe, whatever you practice, know that it fits underneath it. And it's your experience of being with the divine. And that's why we want to journey. So that you can be with the divine. I have down in that everything has consciousness and has spirit. This is one of the core foundation holdings or understandings in shamanism, is that everything has spirit. It's easy for us to sit in here and look at that beautiful river, to look at that green and say, look at those clouds. That has spirit. And to look at a new baby and go, where were you? Where were you that was so close to God? Where were you? That's easy. Where we struggle is when we're in downtown. Or you're late and you have to sit in a taxi cab. Where you're in the grocery store. When you're in Walmart. My kids are always like, Mom, you made it 30 minutes in Walmart. So these are the places then we forget that everything has spirit, that this has spirit. We forget when we look in someone else's eyes that they're spirit. So the core of shamanism is that everything is spirit. Everything is spirit. Everything is divine. Everything has consciousness. Everything is consciousness. So journeying, shamans have been doing journeying for as long as there's been shamanism. One of the core places that the shaman does, if someone has a spiritual practice, that does not mean they are a shaman. So all of you that have spiritual practices, this is another thing to add to your skill set. So what the shaman does is they journey out of their body and they go to different places. Now the cool part is, it's always, always, always in service. A shaman always goes in service, meaning they're not there for their own ego. They're not there for their own good. You are hearing every single presenter you go to has that consistent message about love. What do you think it is?
Could you just explain to people who don't know the difference between a shaman and a sorcerer, because there is that confusion?
Yeah, it's not in my talk. Yeah, there is. So the difference between the shaman and the sorcerer. Carlos Castaneda is the most, anybody here read Carlos's books? Yes, Carlos Castaneda is our most familiar when he talks about sorcery. So the difference between a shaman and a sorcerer, same skill set. Same exact skill set. Same things that they do. They journey. They journey, they go places, but they go for their own power. They go for their own power, for their own good, instead of service. That's the difference. Now, I'm going to do a little tiny bit because it's such a fine line here between holding yourself with your power, or how do you abuse that? That's sorcery, is when you abuse power. That's the bottom line of what sorcery is. So I have a good friend that has a 38-year-old son who's struggling. He's in a marriage, having a difficult time with it. And she called me and she said, Linda, would you do a session for him? It's so strange. Welcome to my world. Yeah. So she said, would you do a session for him? And I said, I would be happy to, but I have to have his permission, and I actually want to get him on the phone to visit with me first. Otherwise, what I'm practicing is sorcery. I don't have his permission. And even if he's told his mama, he needs to tell me before I'm going to work with them. And there's a really fine line, because we love these individuals so much in our lives, that and I've had people that say, well, I talk to the higher essence of them. Bullshit. No, not unless they're in a coma. If they're in a coma, it's a little different. One of the clients I had that was in a coma, her hard body, really, really torn up body. Very, very torn up body. And actually they had left her in triage by the road thinking that she had died. And then they went back and recognized that she hadn't. About several hours later, it was a bus accident. And so her parents, of course, she was a freshman in college. Her parents, of course, wanted her back. And it was a tough body. A pretty difficult road if she came back. So and she was in a coma, so as I journeyed with her, and this is the same journey place that you'll learn to do, as I journeyed with her, my discussion was, I will help you if you want to come back. I'll do everything to help you. And if you want to cross over, it's okay. And I'll help you do that. Either way. So it's her choice. Her choice. She had to come back into the body. She had to come back into that. So about 6 years, and then I walked away. And about 6 years after that, she walked into my office, limping. And she looked at me, and it probably put me in tears. She said, Linda, do you know who I am? And he said, no. And she goes, I'm whatever her name is, and you saved my life whatever number of years ago. Now she had to learn how to walk again. She had to learn how to talk again. She was then back into school. So we're going to learn this is the place of miracles, the place of mystery, place of mysticism, place of magic. This is the realm that you always have access to through Journey. Now, before we jump into Journey, we're going to talk just briefly about sacred space. It's important that you recognize that you are in charge of setting the space around you. You do not have to be collude with what's given. You are in charge of the space around you. One of the things I look at it, I travel a lot. Have you ever been in a hotel room that's like yucky when you walk in? Yeah, you can feel it. Or sometimes it's even like you'll be driving by and you're going to stop at a certain store because somebody told you to, and your car automatically keeps driving. You know, this is where you trust that. You don't turn in with it. So particularly around your homes, the place where you spend time, around your offices, anything, if those of you that work with clients, that work with patients, that are in professions where you're having lots of stuff projected on you, teachers, school system, doctors, psychotherapists, anything we have projected on you, it's really important that you set the space that you want to have. And there's a whole variety of different ways to do that. It's just important that you do it. One of the ways that I'm going to actually go through a couple different ways. In the Dogra tradition, that's an African tradition. In the Dogra tradition, what they do is they will call on different elements. So they call on the elements of minerals, of water, of earth, of fire, and they'll call on these, and nature, they'll call on these elements. And it isn't a rote prayer. What they do is everyone will just say, let me bring my awareness to the water. Bring water in, come water, come water, come water. One of those that I wanted to share is the Lord's Prayer. But this is a different Lord's Prayer. You all know the one you know, right? Yeah. which is a wonderful prayer, but I want you to hear it in a different way, because actually the Lord's Prayer, it's about sending sacred space. The Lord's Prayer that we know, that King James Version, that's not the one that was written. It was translated and then translated, and then translated and then translated, and then translated and then translated. So it went down a whole variety of translations. So here's one of the translations. If you Google original Lord's Prayer, you will find a whole variety of different ones. Those are all off, except me. Welcome to my world. Let me try. Off. I think they're all off. Yeah. You'll hear Suzanne. I have to make really good friends with the microphone, so hello, 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 hello. Friends, 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 friends. So in the original Lord's Prayer, and I apologize, didn't bring enough for everybody. You can sure take them. This is the original Lord's Prayer. If you would like a copy of it, my email, that was on? Was it on? So the original Lord's Prayer. Beloved Mother, Father of the cosmos, you create all that moves in light. Focus your light within us. Feel this in your bodies. Call it in. Focus your light within it. Make it useful as the rays of a beacon show the way. Create your reign of unity now through our fiery hearts and willing hands. Give us the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge for our daily needs. Lose the cords of mistakes or karma that bind us. Let them go. As we release the strand we hold of others' guilt, let it go. Let us not be lost in the superficial things of materialism, but let us be freed from what keeps us from our true purpose. From you is born all working will, the power and the life to do and the strength to act, the song that beautifies all and renews itself from age to age. Truly, power to these statements. May they be in the source from which all my actions grow, sealed in trust and faith. Amen. Amen. So we call on Great Spirit to be with us. To be with us, we step into journey. We come together in sacredness, in a place of deepest love, place of service. We want to honor those images that will be given to us. We want to honor the powers that speak to us through our journeys, to listen to those. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for that sweet, soft voice. To honor the wisdom of your spiritual guides. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To honor the path that your soul walks. To recognize that you can change it, work with it. And the spirit and the container that you're in this lifetime. So in the presence of the earth, that Pachamama, the air around us, the fire that lives in the belly of the earth, that lives in your heart, that lives in the sun, the water, and all the directions, the south, the west, the north, the east, and this middle place, this very middle reality. Very middle reality. We want to call up all of that energy for your journeys. Feel it, call it up. This is you. You get to call it up. This is not a priest that opens. This is you that calls it up. Call it up, call it up. To bring protection around you as you journey. We want protection around us as our journey. That you've come to remember who you are. You've come to remember where you're going. And that we want to recognize that our purpose is much greater than we can ever dream of as we walk this planet. To align ourselves with that higher spirit, to align ourselves with the divine. To remember who we are and who we're becoming. And this is our sacred prayer. Aho. Oh. Open up sacred space in your home. So whether it's the way Kitty did it yesterday, those of you that were here, whether you use the Lord's Prayer, whether you use the Doggerel tradition, whether you create your own prayer, if you Google, can you hear, I love Google. If you Google sacred prayers or sacred space, you will have hundreds of choices. But the most important part is not to take a prayer and learn it this way. The most important part is that you call it up this way. Who are you inside? Who are you inside? And call in that. As you face north, as you face south, as you face east, as you face west, call that up. Call that up. That's the most important part. So we're going to do, that's the sacred prayer. We're going to do a little tiny bit about journey. Little tiny education about journey. Now in journey, it opens up the realms that are actually more real than this realm. I think religion is really wonderful in one way, in lots of ways. One of the things it does is it says, here's the beliefs we're going to give you, and we want you just to do that. Because what can happen, it's like if you step off that edge and you do start to communicate directly with God, you sit with the divine, this filter that separates us from everything else starts to go away. And then you really are in these realms. The most important thing is, between you and somebody that lives in an institution, is that you got to come back to this reality. Many of those that are in institutions just have never come back. The veils are so thin for them of what is actually the different realms. So it's really important you learn to come back. Learn to come back. What shamans typically do is they'll go out for the good of their tribe, their community, their family. Think about Native Americans. Think about Lewis and Clark that went through here. So it was on journey. They were getting information about to help the tribe. Where's the buffalo going to be? Where's the salmon at? Where's the fish at? They're bringing this information back. But it's to come back. It's not just to go out. We come back. And you bring that guidance and that wisdom, those messages back. So shamans travel outside their body. This is what we're going to do. You've probably had that experience in dream time. You may have had that experience in prayer. You may have had that experience in meditation. You may have had that experience in ecstatic dance of being able to get out of the body. So there's many different ways. What sets the shaman apart from other spiritual work is they do it very consciously. Very, very consciously choosing where they're going to go. And we're going to go, you can go, so and if we looked at all the indigenous cultures, so whether you were in Sweden, way up north, where the Sami, those are the shamans up north, where the Sami are. And several years ago, I had the honor to go to Sweden and do some teaching. And they had a beautiful museum. And the Swedish people, the Samis, very much like the Native Americans in the United States. Those tall, blonde, gorgeous Swedes, that's not the Sami. Sami are short, they're dark-haired, and actually what they did is they took their children, same as they did with the Native American traditions here in the States, and they took them down to live in the southern parts of Sweden. And they renamed them all. Renamed them all. And they actually, just now, they're having where their traditions are, it's okay to be a Sami. Well, it's kind of like Native American, where it's cool to be a Sami, where it's kind of here, it's cool to be, oh, I have whatever percentage of Native American. So they use drums, and they would have a family drum, huge, big drums. And on their family drum, they have pictures. And on their drum, and actually what they did is they took their drums away from the families. And if you didn't give up your drum, you were killed. Saying, we've done the same thing here. We've done the same thing here. So at their beautiful new Sami museum, it was just a couple years old, we went to visit, on this beautiful drum way up high, it had these picture of these 3 different worlds. These 3 different worlds. And I went, I know that place. That's the shaman's place. Now you'll hear it in Christianity as, what's up there? Heaven. What's down there? Shh, don't tell anybody. Shh. Right, hell. And then we'll have this very ordinary reality. So you hear that same metaphor. The upper world, what the shaman calls upper world, middle world, lower world. Now we're going to journey to the lower world. That's where we're going to go. Now we have in our middle world, that's actually where hell is. It's not in the lower world. Lower world only has goodness, helping, compassionate guides, spirits. We're going to go there because it's really easy to connect. They're all waiting, clamoring down there, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. So it's very, very successful. You have so many guides there to help you. So we're going to go down to the lower world. That's where we're going to go today. Know that you can journey up to the upper world. You want to sit with Buddha, Kuan Yin, Christ? Upper world. You can go to the upper world. So we're going to go to the lower world. Is where we're going to go. This middle world, all these levels within the middle world. So if we talk about evil, sorcery, talk about those places, this is within this middle world. There are things that are invisible in this middle world. Please recognize that. As you energetically are more open, there are some dangerous places that it's not appropriate for you to be working with. Some of those people ask me, so Linda, I see strange things at night in the sky. You know what? You can call in. If you want to see an ET, anybody in here can see an ET, I promise you. Anybody in here can see an ET. The question is not whether you can see an ET, can you get it to leave? An extraterrestrial. Can you get it to leave? That's the issue. Yeah, you can bring it in. That's not where we want to work. That's not that place that holds that light and that service and that love. And I'm not even moving. That's really cool. So in our journey, shamans go to altered states of consciousness. It's a deep level of meditation, of theta state. And what we're going to do that, we're going to use the drum. Now, and some of you may have heard that shamans use medicine plants. Not very many. Very few actually use medicine plants to journey out. If you looked at the whole globe, that whole 40,000 years of history of shamans, very few use medicinal plants. They are there. Someone would like to talk to me about them afterwards. I'd be happy to do that. So medicinal plants, 10% of all of history of shamanism. The majority of them use drums to journey out. And we use drums because what it does is it changes the pattern, your brainwave pattern. What it'll do is it'll put you in a theta state. You heard Eben last night talk about the music, right? Yeah, it's that same thing. It's not part of this talk, but I'm going to say actually develop your own music from in here. Learn to sing. Not a song from the radio, not anything that's ever been written. It's called a power song. Use your own power to learn and sing. Roll up your car windows if you're worried about the neighbors or you're worried about anybody else. Roll up your car windows. couple weeks ago, I was doing some training in Pennsylvania. And I was walking through the airport, la, 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 and people are like, and I went, yes, I'm going to go teach. Develop, just sing. Remember how you used to little babies, you would sing to them, nothingness songs? Do the same thing. Go back to your singing. Go back. When you sing, it makes you visible to spirit. You want to connect with those loved ones? Start singing. Start singing. Sing, sing, sing. Sing them in. Sing for your power animals. So singing. So in the drum actually changes the brain frequency to 4 to 7 cycles per second, which is a theta state. And it's a pretty fast beat. It's not a slow beat. And the shaman uses the drum not to make music. It's a tool for journeying. We'll journey with. And I'll turn off the mic. In that many drums, historically the shaman have been, that many drums are made out of horse. This one's made out of horse. And the metaphor is, it's what we ride to go to the lower world or the upper world. This is my workhorse drum. Loves, 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 loves to work. And many times there's a thin spot on the drum where the shaman, where you journey through. This is lore that goes through that. Typically you would never touch anybody's rattles or drums because it's like it's part of them. It's like touching their body in private places. So typically you would never do that. And it's interesting, I had a beautiful drum that wasn't mine that a friend was using. And I hadn't brought my drum, and I said, can I borrow your drum? And she goes, of course, Linda, you can borrow my drum. I went to play it. Did not sound the same for me. Did not sound the same for me. So you can journey that way. You can journey with a rattle. You can journey as you walk. You can journey as you sit. You can journey lying down. You can journey while you dance, Sufis. You can journey while you dance. So you're not limited to these tools. I'm going to use them because these are the tools that I use. But journey, you can use anything to journey with. You go sit by the water. Water, many of you may know that, water helps pull things away. So water helps move things. It's a great place to take your grief to, because the water will move it. You can actually set up a grief altar with water and salt. It moves the energy. It moves that down. So we'll be using the drum. Now to do that, first thing we're going to go is to learn a little bit about images. There are pieces of paper and crayons, or in your notebook you can just create an image. So everybody have a piece of paper? Now I distributed throughout the room crayons and paper. So if somebody wants to walk around, or you can just put it in your notebook. You don't have room, there's typing paper all around the room. So I'm going to try a different location. Everybody have crayons that wants crayons? As many as you want. And you can always borrow from your neighbor too, so know that that's a... I have to drum. That's the mic. Everybody have some play tools? Okay. They're saying it's the mic itself. Yep, that's what they're saying. So imagination. Yep. Okay, I'll surrender. Thank you. So imagination. Sometimes people, when they first start doing journey work, they'll go, I think I made it all up. It's the same thing, those voices you hear, I think I'm making it up. I think this is the, I don't know if it's really true. So this is this place where you start to go, even if you made it up, it starts to become truer than this reality. What we want to do, imagination, this is a quote from Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Want to go back to the Bible? Only by the way of imagination does a person journey. Only by the way of imagination. That's in Psalms 39:6. So the right brain, we mentioned that at the first. The right brain is always going. Right brain is always going. It's always creating images. This is how we make sense of what's happening in the world, is we're getting tons of images. And they come through those filters of your body, your senses, your taste, your smell. Those are all these filters that help make sense of the world for us. But the images are happening 24/7. You are always having that nerve pulses creating images. What happens then, our left brain cues in, and we try to talk about what the right brain is doing. So this left brain is the place we try to make sense of the image that we're getting. That left brain, and this is where the language is, you're hearing this again from speaker to speaker, tries to make sense of what's happening here. Now sometimes what's happening in that right brain, the place of images, it's like it doesn't make sense in this world, in this realm. Many clients, I'll say, let me see if I can figure out how to say this about what is happening. So you have to surrender to that to go, it was something like a butterfly. I don't even know if it was a butterfly. It's something that was like this. It was so full of light. So recognize that the words will never give you the image. This is the place of poetry. This is where Rumi excels, that place of trying to talk about what's happening over here. It's a place of the mystic, the magical, because this is what's happening, and to try to talk about it. So what we're going to do is we are going to go on a journey to create an image. Now this is only practice, this is not journey. We're just trying to give you practice so I am getting stuff. So in this, I'm going to drum for a few minutes. You're going to concentrate on that wherever that information comes through for you. One of the individuals that works a lot with DREAM and NLP, Neurolinguistics Programming, she'll say actually you get your images, that information, that gut feeling, I know this is right, I know something's going to happen. You get that from certain locations. And if you can identify that, then you can always be listening to that still voice. So just notice where the information's coming in. So I'm going to drum. And then when I stop, you're going to draw an image. There's no good or bad. You're just going to draw an image. Everybody good with the instructions? Okay. And it's going to be short drumming. So maybe 3 minutes, and then you're going to draw whatever image shows up. And sometimes, if you don't get anything, just let your hand start drawing. because your body knows, and it's just that mind part is it's forward instead of backwards. It's foreground. So if you don't get anything, pick up your pen and start drawing anyway. Okay? All right, here we go. So take a deep breath. Call back to come to this space, this time. And then just write down, draw an image. Not about right or wrong, just to draw an image. And it does not have to be about a Monet, so, or a Warhol, whatever. So we're going to use the image as a way for you to have an experience that you actually do know how to journey, to do this. And then I'm going to take you on a guided journey where we'll work with the trees and then the power animal. So in this first exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to pick a partner, somebody sitting close to you. And so you'll have your image. And I actually don't have a blank piece of paper. So you'll have your image. And in your image, so somebody here in the front row, hold up your image. Great. And hold it up to the group. Okay. So in the image, you're going to pick something in the image where you are going to journey into the image. Way cool. You're going to go into the image. But you have to show them the exact spot. And your name is? Sharon. So Sharon's going to hold up her image again. So maybe she goes, I'm going to go in this blue, where the blue and the orange are together. So pick a spot where you're going to imagine that you go. Yeah, she's going to go into the image there. She's going to go into the image there. Now, you can also do this if your loved one has a picture by their bed. and they're in place of crossing, or it's one of their favorite pictures, you can journey into that. So they're going to journey in. You're going to journey in. You're going to pick partners. One person's going to go first. So decide who gets to go first. They're going to go into the image. I'm going to drum. A couple of seconds, not minutes, a couple of seconds after they go in, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, those of you that really like to do a lot of stuff and you journey a lot, try 10 seconds. So let them jump in. Imagine you're going in there. You don't know where you're going, right? You're just going to the image. Then a few seconds later, the other person is going to go after him. Same image. So Sharon's going to hold hers up. And for example, if she's working with Robin, then Sharon's going to go in first because it's her image. And then Robin's going to follow her into that. Now it could be where Sharon goes is this way. She takes a left turn, she goes down 4 blocks and she takes a right. 2 more blocks and she takes a left, she ends up at the river and starts walking down the river. But Robin goes, Robin goes in and Robin takes a right. And she goes down 2 blocks, takes a left, comes back along the river and you meet them at the river. So I'm not saying you might follow them exactly, but if you want to, you could imagine that you tied a string to their hand and that you're following them. You could do that if you want to do that. But what you want to do is you want to sense while you're in there, when you're in the image, you want to sense, what is it like in there? What do you get? So maybe you feel warm, maybe you feel cold, maybe in your imagination you see what looks like waves. Maybe in your imagination, you see something that looks like grass. So in your mind's eye, and it could be waves and grass, when you're looking at them, many times look the same. Agreed? You see the waves of grass, just like the ocean. So know that it may not be exactly, but it may be metaphoric, what you're seeing. Okay? It's not going to be very long, about as long as I drummed before. This is the callback. So it'll be about 4 or 5 minutes maybe. This is a warm-up exercise. This is like you're stretching before we go for the run. Call back. Stops. What that means, come back here. Whether you guys come the same way doesn't matter, just come back. Come back here. Yes?
I'm confused. Are we speaking where we're going?
No.
Going down 2 blocks?
No.
Okay, so it's our first project.
Yep. So what we're going to do, so it would be, Sharon's going to look at her image. She's going to jump in. I'm just going to be drumming. Count 1, 2, 3. And then Robin's going to go in after that. And then you're just both going to notice what you notice. You may get in there and go, you know what? I'm lost. I'm going back to the hotel. And you may sense that. You're like, I couldn't find you. I was lost. And they're like, I never saw you. I never saw you. It felt like you were lost. I'm like, I was so lost. Yeah. Yep. So the question is that it's going to be nonverbal. You're not going to do any talking. I'm drumming. Nobody's talking. You're going to do this all in here. What did Einstein say? It's more important than knowledge. This is not about knowledge. This is about using your imagination. And the only way the person learns to journey is through image. So this is practicing. It's a warm-up. It doesn't mean you have to have it right. So one person starts, next person goes. I'm going to drum. Then I'll call you back. Drum, 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 stop. Drum, 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 stop. Drum, 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 stop. Take all the time you need. Come on back. Come on back. And then I'll give you a chance to talk. But actually, so that you'll have a chance to compare, this is what I did, where were you, what did it feel like, this is what happened for me. Okay, everybody good so far? Okay. Do you close, good question, do you close your eyes when you go in? Typically, is the question, typically we journey with our eyes closed because we have so many images coming at us in this space and reality. So typically you close your eyes. Those of you that are really good journeyers, see if you can do it with your eyes open. Yeah, you know, you've heard this. We want to dream the world into being with our eyes wide open. Please don't take your dreams and put them to the night. Your dreams are every second now, so we want to learn how to journey with our eyes open, but because we're warming up, stretching out, close your eyes to get a sense of it. Just you both need to know where you're going. You're both going in the exact same picture and the exact same pot. The person that has their picture is the one that goes in first. Nope, you're just going to do one, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, one last question. I can tell you guys are all really excited. Yeah. A little nervous. Let me do that later. I'll do that later. Later. Let me do it later. Okay. So share with decide, find a partner. Decide who's going to go first. That's the picture you're using. Whoever is A, that's the person you're using. And you can put two of you in a picture. Yeah. Everybody have a partner? Yeah. Anybody not have a partner? Okay. Everybody know who's going to go first? Those of you that are going to go first, hold your picture up. Great, just want to do visual check here. And have you showed your partner where you're going to go in? Okay. Now here's the importance of why you know where you're going in. So in dream work, remember I said journey is really close to dream. We're a hair's breadth away. Hair's breadth away in here. Because when you're dreaming your journey, hair's breadth. We actually want to learn how to be conscious in that dream space. You spend about 4 years of your life dreaming. You want to be awake, right? You don't want to waste those years. You want to be awake. So the reason it's so important that we're conscious where we're going in is because each one of those places goes to a different kind of reality. So we were working with a woman in dream work, and she had had a dream of her son dying, and her son died. So she has prophetic dreams with reality. And now she'd had a dream of her grandson dying. And it was very real. They lived by, her grandson lives by the ocean. That's how she saw it happen. Very real, could happen, absolutely. You can go back in your dreams in the same way you can go back in an image. But we had to make sure we went before her grandson died. It doesn't do us any good to change reality if we go in after he's dead. We wanted to go in before the event happened and choose a different fork. Choose a different reality. And when you hold that with power, that is the reality that will happen. That is the reality. So, here we go. And this is fun, so put on your happy faces. Put on your happy faces. This is fun. That's fun, fun, fun. Yeah, happy faces. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Okay, I'm going to drums, and then first person go in, and then those of you that are following, if you're worried, tie a string to them if you're worried about it. So, great, here we go. on back. Come on back. Come back out. Make sure you fully came out. Double check, check your body, make sure you came fully out. Fully out, bring yourself back. All parts of you here. Nobody left in any images. Great. Share with your partner. What did you find? What did you find? Share with your partner. So take a second, finish up with your partner. Finish up with your partner. Great. How many do you think you actually, as you compare notes, that you had kind of the same experience? Yeah. Yeah, different way though, different pictures, different images, but there's something that you go, oh yeah, that resonates. That's a sea of grass, I saw water. Yeah. Yeah, great. Didn't get enough of a picture? Yeah, so sometimes you can see, sometimes you may hear. If you see, yeah, awesome. So some of you may hear, it's still called seeing. Some of you may get your information here. Some of you may get your information through a gut feeling. Some of you may get a smell. I could smell hamburgers cooking. I could smell whatever. I could smell seaweed. I could smell whatever. So drop in all those senses. Sometimes you might get a taste. What I really got was taste. When you weave all these together, which is what you want to develop your skills, it's called synesthesia. So sometimes when you're journeying, it may be more of a feeling in your body. It's called kinesthetic. Maybe you may have a feeling in your body. It may be that there's an image. It may be that there's a sound. We want to have all of those, because sometimes if you're journeying and you only have one way and that channel is not tuned in today, you want to have lots of other places to put your dial to tune it to. Everybody good with that? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
What if you had something different, but what one person had really resonated with the life of the other person?
Oh, okay, so the question was, what if you saw something different or had something different, but whatever you said resonated with the other person? Yeah, you just went like 10 miles out on the run instead of just warming up. Yeah, yeah. So shamans, so if we look at it in that way, so the question was, what if you saw something that resonated with someone's life? You are noticing and seeing things that resonate with people all the time. All the time. What's so important, because guess what? All the crap is what you're going to see too. All those bad things, all that sadness, all that grief, that's right there. You could see that. But it's really important when you look, is that you see the greatest in that person. Here's the other thing, the closer and the higher you see that, the stronger you see that. What happens is we concentrate on I have my beautiful son Cody. We concentrate on the F's. He didn't get any F's, but he got D's. So we concentrate on that instead of the amazing people that they are. There's the most amazing kid. Most amazing kid. So it's really important that you are always seeing for someone else their greatest. And because it came up this morning in discussion with my sister, it's also really important, and I know many of the psychics here personally, it's also really important as you go out in the world, as Terry said, all of these, they're putting their stamp of approval on. It's really important that whoever you see, they only see the greatest for you. They only see the greatest for you. Because guess what? As we look in the future, in the same way you saw all those whys and those valleys and those mountains that you had to crawl over, crawl under, whatever, that stuff can be out in the future. You only want somebody that's seen your life in your greatest. Sees you happy, abundant, joyful, full of health. Because all of that's there. All of that's there. I've worked with a number of clients where they have gone to see psychic, shaman, astrologer, whoever. They've gone to see someone that has told their future, and they saw things that were absolutely could have happened, and they, by their seeing them, it empowers them. By their act of seeing, it begins to create that for them. That dark, tall man was haunting a woman. Had to go take him out, see something different. Yeah, so that's my Linda soapbox for a minute.
When you're entering journey or you're entering and that left side voice starts to get really loud,
Yeah.
what do you do that are helpful?
The one that doesn't work is shut up. That one doesn't work. Tell you the ones that don't work. So I'm sorry. So the question was, when you're in journey and that left voice gets really loud, how do you work with it? What are some of the things you could do? And I was just saying, do not yell at it or tell it to be quiet, because what happens if anybody's done this? It gets louder. It gets louder. It gets louder, louder. So what I'll do is I'll pay attention to it and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's really you're saying, the same way when you're busy, it's like, thank you, but I'm working on this right now. Yeah.
Sometimes you have a conversation with someone in a room and there might be a TV on, someone else is in the room and they're watching TV, but you're over there in the other place in the corner or something having a conversation. You can put your attention to the TV and hear the TV primarily, or you can just like focus over here.
Right.
And I learned years ago when I first started doing past life regression that that's exactly how it is.
Right.
That you can hear outside sounds, you can hear the lawnmower going off, you can hear the mailman putting the mail in the mailbox outside, whatever. You can put your attention there, or you can say, yeah, okay, whatever, and put your attention to the other thing. And the more you do it, the easier it gets to pay attention to what you want to direct your attention to.
Thank you. And actually, I'm going to put a little different spin on it, but it's just a different metaphor. So my husband is an environmental engineer that works for the military as a private contractor. He's working on the Pachamama. And he gets the newest toys for computers because it's the military. So he has this amazing screens that hold 5 or 6 screens open at the same time. Open at the same time. When he works in one screen, it shifts the other screen. So in the same way, you can have many screens open. Part of you will notice that you're sitting in a chair. Part of you might notice breakfast going around in your belly. Part of you might notice the sound of something outside. So you're going to have all of that. That's one of the screens. And then you'll have the other screens. And one of those screens is that voice that's going. Yeah. So it's just to bring your awareness. Imagination allows a different perspective with it. Yeah. And I could spend, there's actually, this is called Divination. How do you sit with the divine? How do you see? So we could spend a whole 7 days talking about it. So there's a little tiny piece. Was there a question in the back? Yes.
I was just going to say, everybody has a representational system
Yes.
that's more developed than others. Some people more visual, auditory. So if somebody's very highly sensitive to sound, that TV is going to be, it's more difficult to kind of tone that sound down. Would you agree with that?
So the comment is that we all have representational systems, which we do. Some of you, those of you with your shoulders back and you're sitting nice and straight, you're typically more visual. Our Western world is typically more visual. Actually, you're rewarded in our educational system rewards the visual learners. Doesn't that suck? Yeah. For those of you that are kinesthetic, it does, huh? The slouchers. So the slouchers, many of you, I'm diverging, and I'm going to drum in just a second. The ones that sit back here, walk around the back of the room, or massage therapist. Who in here is a massage therapist? Yeah. People like to touch people. They're more kinesthetic. The auditory ones are actually the saddest because, the one that always has the questions sits in the front row and you're like, please don't say another word. Please don't call on her. Whatever you do, don't call on her. That's the auditory person. Yeah. Sad lifestyle. More loners. So we're going to go on journey. Yeah, your kids, and I'll work with power. When we do power animals, that's one of the things you could do. So the question was about kids that are having nightmares, is what you can do, and power animals is absolutely one of the things to work with. Bring them back for them. Okay, next person. Show them where your spot is. Good, everybody set? Okay. So it'll be the same length of time. Person's going to go in, the other person will follow. Nice deep breath.
Follow your breath back. Come on back. Another image. Come back. Nice deep breath.
Share with your partner. Come on back. So how many of you felt like you got relevant information? Great. More hands, more hands. Great. How many had fun? More hands, more hands, more hands, more hands. Our next journey that we're going to do is we're going to do with a tree. And before I go there, I had mentioned that you could use these images. You can use images as a place to journey through. So the shaman uses upper world, lower world. You can also use an image to go through. And you don't even have to have an image to journey out at all. The thing that's to remember when you get information, whether it's auditory, kinesthetic, meaning in your gut, my gut says this, my sense of it is this, is that what happens is it's always through our filters. Meaning it has to do, I look at them as filters that we have around us. So it has to do with our age. Yes? Yep. It has to do with our experiences, all those experiences we carry around. It has to do with being masculine or feminine, male or female. It has to do with where you were raised, what's your background. It has to do all those kind of things. So it's really important that you get as much of your stuff out of the way when you're there to work with a loved one. Because you don't want to have it be through your map. I was doing a soul retrieval with my oldest daughter who asked me, she was 16, 17, she asked me to do a soul retrieval with her. And I'm in the underworld and I get a soul part to come back and then the mama part kicks in. Where I had an instant thought, it was a beautiful, whatever it was that was coming back, an instant thought, I wonder if I'm getting this because I'm her mom. Bam, done. I can't do that work. Absolutely not. And I came right back and said, I love you very much, and you're going to go have to find somebody else. I can't. I don't know that difference between what was going on right brain image and what was happening in the left brain. There was too much of a rollover there. So it's just to be really cognizant of how, when you journey. You know, I'm going to put another little piece in here that I don't have in my script, but I think it'd be cool if you guys had it because we're right on that place. This is from a woman who does dream work and NLP. Her name is Tiana Gagano, and she is from Denver. So in Tiana's work, using NLP, she says that we get information in a certain location. So everybody think about a time when you knew you should have done something. This doesn't mean you did it. The example that I first did is this 30 years ago. I was walking by in my house, and on the shelf was a vase, like on the window shelf, there was a vase that my husband got from his great-grandmother, or down the family. And I'm walking by, and I hear this really clear voice that says, move the vase. Move the vase. Of course, I wasn't doing this work at the time. I'm like, what? I'm not moving the vase. Well, I didn't argue. It didn't make sense. Move the vase. Everything looked fine. 2 hours later, dog tail, whack. Vase pops off, shatters the vase. I'm like, I knew it. Everybody have one of those? Yeah. Every person in here has one of those. Okay? So it's not whether you did it. It could have been that you moved the vase, or it could have been that, but you have that sense. Okay, so think about that example. So everybody find at least one example. Ideally, that isn't really traumatic, meaning that your breathing stays low. That's not attached to a car accident or someone dying or something like that. Anybody not have one? Okay. So many times they're really common. It's take your ticket with you, go sit over there. It's just maybe a sense in your body. So the first thing we're going to do is to calling up that event, that when you had that, is to notice if you had a feeling in your body, and find a feeling, you can create one. Where is that in your body? Put your hand on it. Is it in your belly? Is it in your heart? Is it 2 feet out? Where is that in your body? That knowing, that sense. Just know where it is. Put your hand right on it so I can see that everybody has it. Put your hand right on it. Put your hand right on it. Great. Remember this spot. Remember this spot. So when you get a feeling right there, listen to it. It's not your left brain talking to you. Okay, then next, let's go with sound. So if you heard a voice, and maybe you didn't hear a voice, if you didn't, put a voice in there now. Move the face. Take the left turn, whatever the voice would be. And where is that in your body? Is it inside your head? Is it outside your head? How far out? Is it on the right side? Is it on the left side? Where is the voice? And put your hand right on it. If you had to touch the voice, and it could be inside your head, like inside your scalp. Find your voice. Great. Remember that spot. Remember that spot. Okay. If there was an image, like I looked over and I saw the vase. So if there was an image, so same thing, now close your eyes. Where's the image at? Where would the image be at? Left hand side, right side, inside your skull. Put your hand right on it. So you know, could be outside a couple inches, a foot, wherever it is. Great. Remember that spot? Great. Good. If you have a wonderment that you're not sure, you could try a couple of different examples. It will be the same spot. So whether it was about, so as you are aware of this, it's in the grocery store the other day, and I got very clearly, get Crisco. I thought, I just saw Crisco in the cupboard. I am not getting Crisco. Didn't get the Crisco. Guess what we needed? We had 20 kids, 17-year-olds coming over to my house the next day. We're making biscuits, and guess what we didn't have? Crisco. And I live in a little tiny, tiny town, and then the grocery stores were open. Doggone it, I knew it. So you honor these, okay? So to get that information, so when we journey. Great. So how you work with it, those locations, when you have a wonderment, so let's do an exercise with it real short. Everybody think of something you want to know, more information about. How can I help my kids? What should I do about da-da-da? Will the ride home tomorrow be easy? Is there something I need to, what class should I go to this afternoon? Okay, everybody have a question? Okay, move your eyes. So what Tiana says is move your eyeballs, you focus, down to wherever that spot was, where your belly, where you were sensing, feeling. Move your eyes, literally move your eyes down to that spot and get whatever the answer is. If you need to write it down, write it down. Then move your eyes, focus, literally move your eyeballs to the spot of where the voice was, the auditory. Ask your question. And then move your eyes to the spot or the location of where the image is. Ask your question. Great, was that helpful? Yeah, write anything down you need to write down. So you can use these locations. And we're going to go on journey. We're perfect timing. So the journey that we're going to do is we're going to first connect with and journey with a tree. With a tree. And trees have been used in indigenous cultures and in spiritual work throughout time. So Christianity has used the tree from what? The Garden of Eden. Yeah, tree of life, tree of knowledge. So Christianity, that tree where Eve took that Adam off of, or took that apple off of, took Adam off of it. That separation from wholeness. Yeah. Trees are symbol in Buddhism. So Buddhists spend all that time underneath the Bodhi tree, sitting. So you find trees in a variety of places. Jung speaks about the trees, that it's the process of growing towards the self. And he would investigate the dream space with trees. Many religions all over Europe all work with trees, the tree of life, from the Kabbalistic tree of life, that maybe some of you have studied the Kabbalah from here. So the cosmic tree is a metaphor that has been used throughout time, this tree of knowledge, of extension into the upper world and extension down into the lower world. And actually, even Christianity today, that symbol of the tree still persists. The Christmas tree that we put the light at the top of the tree, it represents that light up into the cosmos. Light up into the cosmos. All those twinkling lights that you buy at Walmart, yeah, those twinkling lights represent all the stars. So it still has this place of images of the tree. Homeopathy, anybody's looked at homeopathy, has a remedy if the individual has life issues that are about connection to spiritual growth and integration. They use tree energy, tree homeopathic remedies to work with that. Now, everybody knows that trees have different personalities, right? Yeah. Trees have different personalities. If this is the first time you've heard this, please start to play with it. Please investigate it, because trees have different personalities. They'll have different smells. Some of them smell like vanilla. Oh, Harry Potter. Remember what was that? The battering tree? Whopping willow, yeah. Or the one in the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, second. Avatar, the tree. Yeah, tree of life. Yeah, that you heard with that. Joan of Arc. I don't know if anybody studies anything about Joan of Arc. Her name was Janae. And actually, when she talked to her judges, before she went, she told the judges, if I were in a wood, I could easily hear the lady tree talk to me. Lady tree talk to me. And they're not merely voices. They came with bursts of light and shapes of human or more than human side, with the scent of flowers and the fresh young leaves. Because I live in Utah, I can say this. Brigham Young. Joseph Smith had his revelations in a grove of trees. So trees, I would actually encourage you to start really connecting with trees, because they hold this wisdom. Well, you can actually develop an ancestor tree in your yard. Put some lavender with it, put coins, put your prayers on your ancestor tree, because it helps hold that knowledge that we're going to connect with. The cosmic tree was revered and worshipped by the general society and used by the shaman. So used by the shaman to journey up, used by the shaman to journey down. So we're going to start with a guided journey where you're going to connect with the tree, so you have a place to always come home to. Come home to that tree. The other thing it does is it helps ground you, so that you'll always have this place of grounding to come to. So the first thing you're going to do is and I'll drum with it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to find an image of a tree in your mind's eye. Ideally, a tree that you connect with. It could be one that you visited, could be through a park, could be out in the woods when you were hiking, walking, maybe when you were a child. So to bring up in your mind's eye a tree. Everybody have a tree? Anybody not? And then now it's your choice. Do you want to have a drum for this? A rattle? What would you like to have? Drum? Okay. We'll keep it soft. And keep your body nice and straight. Imagine your body's nice and straight. Spine straight, energy flowing up and down. And picture that tree that you know that knows you. one in your yard. Picture it. Call on that image, the place where that tree stands from your memory. Bring all your senses there. What do you smell? Put your nose into the bark. What's it smell like? Earth? Dirt? Vanilla? Maybe it's a flowering tree. Do you know its species? Is it a fir, a birch, an oak? Is it moist? Is it dry? Is the bark smooth? Is it white? Is it brown? Is it silver? What's this tree like? And what are the sounds you hear when you're at that place where the tree stands? The wind whispering, a nearby creek. What do you hear? And allow yourself to come closer and closer and closer if you're not there already, until you can feel your back against the tree. And sense how its roots go deeply into the soil. And imagine that you're standing just like your tree, back right against it. And let your awareness move to the soles of your feet. And feel yourself reaching down, that your feet become roots. Maybe your fingers too. Sinking those toes deeper and deeper into the soil. Deeper and deeper. Becoming roots, going deeper. And feel them begin to spread wide. Feel yourself reaching down into the earth. Pachamama. Going deeper, spreading out, just like the roots of a tree. And you begin to feel that moisture of Mother Earth. Dark, rich soil, weaving its way around any barriers, through the rocks. And allow yourself to become rooted and centered in the earth. Deeper and deeper, maybe that you're holding the earth. And she's holding you. And then let that energy of the earth rise up into your body, right through those fingertips, through those feet. That warm fire streaming up through your legs. Cleansing, healing. Let it rise up to your root center, that first chakra, at the root center. Bringing that energy right up to your heart, cleansing, healing, warm fire of the earth. Up through your throat, loosening any blockages, anything, anywhere. Any constriction, down your arms, through your neck, aligning, bringing balance, healing. All the way up to the crown. Let it rise even above the top of your crown, and then rush back down again. Down through you, like a soft mist, back to the belly of the earth. And notice how with every breath in, you bring in earth. Every breath out, it cycles back down. Feeling it in, washing, flushing away anything that needs to be let go of, any cords, bindings, heavy energies. Let those go back to the earth. Any heavy energy goes back to the earth. Feel your body totally cleansed by the earth, part of the earth, rooted, holding the earth. Earth holds you, grounded. And now allow yourself to rise like a tree, grounded, held by the earth. Up to the sky. Rising, rising, up to the sky, grounded, held, rooted, strong. And bring your awareness up, 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 towards the light of the heavens, up. And bring that awareness even above your head, up higher, higher, higher. Up into this place of light, brighter and stronger than the sun, the cosmic sun. This invincible power of light, of divinity. And feel the light streaming down towards you, opening your crown, allowing it to come in, stream in. Down through the canopy, down through your body, bringing that infinite power of light. And be open to that light streaming down, flowing down through your body, third eye, throat, heart, belly, legs. Spine. And then allowing it to surge up again. Back up to the stars. And feel yourself even go up higher, head in the stars. Grounded. And as you're there, allow yourself to notice, bring your awareness if there's any openings in your energetic field, weaknesses, and call on extra light. Repair anything in your body that needs to be repaired. Call on extra light. Bring it down. Feel the light, that you're within the light, surrounded by light. Where you're loved, protected. Drink in that light. And feel that light moving through every fiber and particle of your being. Skin glowing. Robed in that radiant aura of light. And as that light becomes even stronger and stronger, let it come down into your heart, pooling in your heart. Rooted in the earth. And let that earth energy come up into your belly, solar plexus. And then feel the lights mix of earth and of heaven. And feel it become stronger and brighter, and allow it to grow until it blazes like an inner sun. And feel the three worlds connected, that lower world of light. Feeling yourself catch those rays of cosmic rays of the heavens and bringing them down to the earth. Feel the wisdom, the knowledge, the illumination. Feel yourself being fed by the light, the sun, the earth. And as you pay attention to that flow of your breath, notice that you always have this connection of earth. And that you always have this connection of heavens. Firmly grounded in the earth. Trunk strong and tall. Head in the heavens. Fed by the sun. Allow yourself to gently come back here, feeling those roots, feeling that light, that place of the heavens, the stars. Great. Nice gentle breath. If you need to, I'm going to leave all the crayons out before you leave the room. We're going to do one more journey. Before you leave the room, do an image of your tree. If you can, do it. You can do it right now. Right. And then we're going to do a power animal journey. And as you're drawing, I'm going to speak. One of the things is that this bringing up this image is this connection to the earth, connection to the heavens. So if any of you have concerns about not being grounded, make sure you're continuing to connect to the earth. And know that you always have this connection to the heavens, to the divine, the cosmic sun, much beyond, is to bring that down again and again and again. In 1 minute, we're going to journey down through those roots that you just sensed. And we're going to go on a power animal journey. Did anybody not journey? Anybody not? So why don't you visit with me afterwards? Yeah. We're going to be about 10 minutes late, but you'll make it to lunch. So the next journey that we're going to do is we're going to take a guided journey, meaning when it's guided, I'm speaking. When I was just drumming, you go for it. So we're going to do a guided journey. At any time, if my speaking doesn't match what you're seeing, hearing, you go for it. You never stay and follow whoever's leading. You always allow yourself to go. So you all have full permission to do what you want to do, go where you want to go. This journey that we're going to do is we're going to go back to that tree. You're going to connect back with that tree. And this time we're going to take those roots that you have created, firmly established, and we're going to go down. Down, 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 down those roots. Your awareness in the same way that you went through the image, you're going to bring your awareness to go down those roots. Now where those roots are going to take you, they're going to take you, they may be twists and turns, they're going to take you to a cave or a cavern. And in this cave, what you're going to notice is it's this great cave of animals. And inside, when you step into the cave, what you're actually going to sense, and you'll see, just like in the caverns in France, is you'll see these exquisite images of all of the Earth's animals, past, present, future, on the walls of the cave, which means that unicorns there. Magical. So all of the animals are on the cave's wall. And as you're there, what you'll start to sense is you'll actually start to sense movement on the walls. you'll sense that the walls are actually alive. Now, those of you that already have a power animal, a guide that you've done work with, when you go down, your power animal might be right there. That doesn't mean typically, legend and lore has that we have 7 power animals over our lifetime. And that we will get many times one when we're first born. And then as we go through different periods in our life, then you still have those 7. And then also you can have animals that come in when you're under crisis. So you're going through a difficult time, maybe you'll connect with a certain animal that'll be there to help you and guide you. So when my 16-year-old was born, Cody was born, from all over the United States, his predominant gift was things with polar bears. He got polar bears on blankets, he got really little, the stuffed polar bears, he got polar bear hats, he got polar bear jackets, he got a predominance of polar bears, is what he got. About the same time, whatever age that little age would be, I started calling him Cody Bear. His sitter, his other mom, started calling him Cody Bear. We didn't figure it out till about 6 months later. We're both calling him the same name, and we both started at the same time. So even now at 16, sometimes I call him Cody Bear. So when he was, I don't know, that age when they have nightmares? That age when they have nightmares? All of your kids, each one of you connected with an animal when you were born. It was right there for you. Then maybe what happened is your parents didn't encourage it, they thought it was weird. As you grew up, you no longer connected with that, but each of you had animals when you came in. So Cody was having nightmares, and I said, what is it? He says, Mom, there's something right outside my door. Scaring the snot out of him. Something right outside my door. I know it's there. So I said, okay, Cody, what I'll do, because the kids say the stuff that they say under their bed, there is stuff under their bed. There is energetic stuff. The stuff that's in the closet, there is energetic stuff in the closet. So please recognize that. Open their closet, cleanse it out. Get it out. Open a window. There's a whole practice on doing this. Open a window, cleanse that stuff out of their bedrooms. If you have little tiny babies that are having like colicky and all kinds of stuff, you can actually take a raw egg, put it in water, put it under their crib. It'll help absorb the heavy energy of whatever is going on within them.
Do you break it?
No, do not break it, raw egg, and keep it whole, and then bury it. So don't open it, don't let the energy out. So Cody's like, Mama, there's something there. So I said, okay. So next night, in my mind's eye, I'm laying in bed. In my mind's eye, I go up through my house, journey just like the same way you went through your hole. You went through the image, journey up, and outside Cody's door was this huge polar bear. Huge bear. Huge, gigantic bear right there. Of course, it's his power. I can't take away a bear. It's his power. Total disservice if I ask the bear to leave. His power. So I had to say, Cody, you got to make friends with it. You're going to make friends with it. This is there for you. You're going to make friends with it. And then, of course, he goes through that teenager years, and now he's come back. He did a session with someone else. And bear came back to him. Bear came back to him. So you have these animals. They will come back for you. They are there. We're going to go to the underworld. So you're going to go down. There's this cave. All of these animals on the side of the cave. You can actually, what you'll see is you'll see those handprints of thousands of other people that have been there before. You'll feel those handprints. You'll feel them. So in the journey, you're going to go around the cave. You can put your hands on there. Some of it'll be moist. Some of it'll be hot. And you'll sense the movement. You'll hear the horses. You'll hear the call of the cat. You'll sense it. You'll feel it. You'll notice it on this cave. And there is an animal there that's calling you. And you'll feel it. You'll be called to a section of the wall as the cave becomes more and more alive. And there'll be an animal, and it's going to step right off that cave wall. Comes right off the cave wall, fully alive there. And the biggest thing you do is say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So but we want to invite it to become part of you. It's one of those that you always have to call on. is that animal, things are difficult, help show me what's going on. Show me what needs to help. So it's there to work with you. So what you'll then notice, to really bring it in, you'll notice that in the center of the cave there is a big altar, and it's covered with black. Big black stone, big black altar. And on it is actually a mask that is the face of that animal. It's got bone in it. It's actually a mask. And you're going to take that mask and you're going to put it on. You're going to put it on. And when you put it on, you're inviting that animal to come in. Be part of me. Be part of me. Offer me your wisdom. Offer me your grace. Offer me your stillness. And your animal will dialogue with you. Robin, I'm here to offer you wings. I'm here to offer you stillness. So you'll know, you'll hear it, and you can ask it a question. So some of you that have questions, tell me about my loved one. Tell me whatever I need. The animal is right there. So you can do any dialogue, any questions you want. What are the characteristics of that animal? What are the gifts it's bringing for you? So you invite it in, invite it in, invite it in. If you were sitting in class with me, you would then up your body, and you would dance, and you'd move like the animal. So you can do that afterwards on your own, because we don't have time for it. But know then it's really important that you bring it in your body. Move with it. How do you feed it? Know that that animal there is there to nurture you. There to feed you. 2 weeks ago I had a client that I brought back a Labrador dog that was there. And she sobbed, she's from New Zealand, she sobbed into the phone, I don't want a dog. Sobbed into the phone. This woman has no friends. What's the best thing about a Labrador dog? Love. Oh my gosh, they love you whether you just saw them 5 minutes ago. I'm going to lead them on a 10-minute journey. Okay. She just told me I had to stop. We're going to go on a journey. Okay? Nice breath. Allow yourself to go back to that tree. Feel that tree. Feel the roots of your feet go right down. And allow yourself to travel down through those roots. Deeper and deeper. And one of your animal guardians or spirit helpers may already be there. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you go into the cave of the animals. Allow yourself to go down. Right to the cave of the animals. You're deep in the earth. This place that is mysterious and alive. And a light comes on, you see that you're in this great cave. And you sense, see, feel, hear these animals on the walls of the cave. And using your senses, knowing that you can journey. Stand in this cave and the wall seems to be in motion. Feel its movement. Are there sounds? Maybe you feel the vibration of running, of stamping hooves. And you see that other walls, other hands have touched these walls. You see them painted in red and black. And what other colors? Ancient palms that have pressed there or brought their wisdom. Put your hand in that palm. Know that wisdom is available for you. And you gently begin to feel the walls. And the strange sensations of what's on the walls, moist, cold, heat, movement, recorded in paint throughout time. These paintings are alive. And there's one that is calling you. What is the animal that is calling you? Sense it. Feel your way over to it. It's seeking you. And when you find it, reach out, invite it. Come, come, come. As you would reach for a long lost love. Come, my love. Invite it off. Invite it to meet you. And notice it is no longer on the wall, it is in the space with you. And notice in the center of that cave, there is the altar, a natural stone altar that holds the mask of this animal that is now with you. Reach out, take that mask, put it on, and take in that full power of that animal. Feel all your senses shifting. Allow your body to shift and change as you take that in. Muscles better, nerves better, hearing better. Paws, wings, scales. And reach out your hands, bring it in even more fully. Arms becoming wings, hands becoming paws, hollow bones, scales, hearing. And get a sense, how is this a gift for you? How are you going to use it? What are the qualities it has for you? How does it want to be used? How do you feed it? By taking care of it, nurturing it, using it? What is the gift for you? There's something that you need to ask. Ask it. And then reaching your arms out, bring it very fully into your body, fully into your body. And your deepest gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, cave. Thank you, animals. And allow yourself to follow those roots back up. Back up, 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 up. Bringing that animal, feeling that animal. And then back out of the tree, back to this room, back to this room. Feeling that animal there. And reach out, give yourselves a great big hug. And I'd recommend going for a walk, honoring that animal, doing whatever wisdom it gave you. And I want to tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming.